Just 1 second, Chris.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, Chris. Like they say, great minds think alike. I was actually on a call to the switchboard, and you managed to ring, so that's good.
Oh, you just call in. Okay.
I
How are
understand.
things?
I understand you've been off for a few days,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Got annual leave.
yeah, but did you just have 2 days on annual leave because you left me a message on Friday?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
2 days.
Oh, okay, all right. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, not too bad. How's things for you?
Yeah, I mean the last. Can you remember the last time we spoke?
Yeah, I think it was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it's in August, end of August,
Yeah,
wasn't
this
it?
was in August. And where we left things. Do you remember where we left things?
You said that you didn't have any reason to call me
Yes,
again.
because obviously my brothers asked for a balance, and your employers are refusing to give us a balance of how much money he's owed or how much money he has retained. And obviously we thought, well, you can't help us in that regards. So I don't see what the point is of calling her. And so can I ask why you've contacted me now?
It was just really just a general check to make sure that see how talent's doing.
But why?
Because you know, I know you disagree with him being supported by CMHT, but I'm
But
not allowed to kind of discharge Talib. So, and as his care coordinator, it's just part of one of my duties to just kind of check that he's okay.
okay. So you're not in a position to discharge him, but who is in a position to discharge him?
Um, I don't think anyone is at this moment. Whilst everything's still ongoing,
Well, well, that's
I
not.
wouldn't know how.
Well, that's not.
We
Well, sorry,
can't just.
Chris. Sorry, Chris. You're saying that you don't know how, but that's not correct, is it? Because he's already been the person he's under the city mental health team, which means that there's a consultant psychiatrist looking after him. Consultant psychiatrist discharged him in August last year. So he's already been discharged from the psychiatrist, and now he seems to be lingering at the city mental health team without a psychiatrist and with yourself as Bradford Council social workers. So, you know, I'm just, we need some clarity of understanding it, because obviously the reason that you can't discharge him now is because Bradford Council can't discharge him because he's not being held by Bradford Council, is he? He was being held, or he was being under the care of a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist discharged him back to his GP, and that's the end of the matter. The fact that you're still here is, highly alarming and concerning to me.
We spoke about this before. So I mean, people have just been allocated a care coordinator. There's lots of people that are just allocated a care
Okay,
coordinator and not a
okay, all
psychiatrist.
right, But do you understand? If it's just normal practice, I'm more than happy to deal with that. But where there's an element of malevolence or fraud, because when somebody's trying to, like, for example, I'm sure you get the calls from Nigeria saying, "Oh, we're trying to, you've won some money. We want your bank account details." Now that's a fraud, don't you? Yes? So when somebody's acting with malevolence or fraudulently, and I'm pulling up on that, and they're not giving me a clear enough, concise answer, then obviously I have concerns. Because you're right, we have discussed this, and you're saying I'm the care coordinator, which means you're coordinating care. But you're not providing any services to my brother at all. In fact, you've taken all his money and not giving him his access to his money. So, what exactly is your role? Considering the last time we spoke, you said, "Well, I don't need to. If you don't want to call me, that's fine." So I haven't called you.
But I think the reason why we're not providing any services is because you won't let us see Talib.
No, that's
Either that or he doesn't want to be seen by us. But that's kind of
yes.
the question.
No.
And that's the reason why we're not providing any services. So
No,
that's the reason why we can't just discharge him.
no, that's not the correct. That's not correct. Once again, you're being very economical with the truth. He is receiving a service. He's receiving his care is being serviced by myself, and obviously I've explained to you on numerous occasions that it's not for free and there's a charge to it. So he's obviously out in the community. Is it not correct? He's out in the community under a Section 117 aftercare package.
I don't think he's entitled to Section 117 aftercare. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and he was discharged into my care in December 2018. Yes, I think 14th of December 2018. We're in 2022 now. All right, and if he was just for clarity, if he was receiving a package of care under the Bradford Council authority or the under direct payments or whatever, yes, you would be paying for that, wouldn't you?
It would mean with 117 aftercare funding, it would mean that Sally wouldn't need to contribute.
That's correct. Okay, all right, that's correct.
What the 117
okay,
funding
that's correct.
Prevents the person from paying for their own care.
Okay, all right.
So that would mean.
That's right. Yes.
So section of the.
Yes. So if he's entitled, if you were providing care for him, there would be he wouldn't have to contribute because he's out on a Section 117. And the next point is that considering that my brother Talib is doubly incontinent, requires 24-hour care 7 days a week. What is the maximum that a package of care would cost him a week?
Maybe £500 or £600. That's the maximum. I'm not saying that's what. It can depend on each person.
Yeah.
Usually, the maximum is about £500 or £600.
I think we've had this conversation before. Yeah. I think that's there because my brother was in a nursing home and he was receiving over about £1,200. No, I'm sorry, even more, £1,800 because he required 24-hour nursing care. And my father, who was at home, he was receiving over £1,200 a week. So it's not necessarily correct that, I mean, that's just your assumption, innit? But let's just go on your assumption that it's £500 a week. It's now been like 3 years. It's coming up to nearly 4 years that my brother's been in my care. So 500 times 4 years. That's a substantial amount of money that you, the council, have saved at my expense, isn't it?
Without being able to do a care act assessment, it's difficult to say how much the care would cost.
Okay, but Chris, let's as a conservative figure, because I don't accept that my brother requires £500 care package, because when he was out receiving, I think 12 hours care under direct payments, which were being paid to him, which was being paid to him. As I mentioned to you, £410. That was a couple of, I think, 6 hours a week or something in domiciliary care. So, as it stands, as a conservative figure, let's just say it's £500 a week times 52 times 4. So that's nearly over £100,000 as a conservative figure that Bradford Council has saved as a result of me caring for him over the last 4 years, isn't it?
Without assessing Talib's care needs, it's impossible to say how much that would be.
No,
it does sound like you have saved maybe the council money by meeting your brother's care needs.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we were just playing semantics. It was just I was not trying to say that that's the exact figure. I said, conservatively speaking, I don't think it's £500 his care package if you were to provide it, because he requires 24-hour care 7 days a week. So I don't think any care provider would do that in his own home. Because the alternative, you would try to railroad him into going to a care home, which he doesn't want, and has clearly expressed to you that he doesn't want to go to a care home. He wants to stay at home, be with his family.
Is Talib there at the moment, Shazad? Is it possible to speak with Talib?
I'm sorry, why are we going off topic?
No, but I mean, rather than talking about money, like I said, mainly it's just to check that Talib's okay.
But no, not a problem. But I'm just concerned of your motivation to contact me.
It literally is just to make sure that Talib's okay.
But has there been a safeguarding alert raised?
No.
Has somebody
No, but I've seen
no,
it
no.
for a while, so...
So sorry. Has somebody contacted you regarding a concern raised regarding my brother Talib?
I don't think I'm at liberty to kind of answer those kind of questions.
What do you mean?
I
Look,
think it's quite reasonable to say that we're just making sure
no, no. Look,
okay.
you know what? Once again, if you're acting with malevolence, I don't need to engage with malevolence or fraud or deception or you're trying to hoodwink me. So, I'm asking a simple question: has somebody raised a safeguarding or concern regarding my brother?
I feel that whatever way I answer that question, you will then offer an answer that it means that I've acted in some way wrongly.
No, Chris. I mean, no, Chris. I think
just a welfare check.
no, no, Chris. I think
Miss
Chris, I think you're being very disingenuous here. If you say to me, look, you already said to me, look, yeah, I accept the fact that you're saving the council substantial amount of money. End of. Similarly, I'm simply asking, you can say to me, yes, so we have received a concern, hence, what has triggered you coming, doing a welfare check now? What has triggered it? Because the last time we spoke was in August, and in August you said you don't have to talk.
Okay, then, that's fine. So, I'll say that the concern has been mentioned by a housing provider. So, are you happy with that?
Yes, I understand now. Okay, that's clarified. So, a concern has been raised regarding a housing provider. What can you tell me the details of that concern?
Just said, can we make sure that Talib's okay?
Well, can you? Well, all right, okay. So, okay, all right. Because obviously, okay, well that obviously you're being open and Okay, you've been open and transparent about it now. Because what's happened is that Manningham Housing, as you're aware, has taken litigation action against me and my brother.
Okay.
And as you're fully aware, Manningham Housing has been in direct communications with you regarding safeguarding alerts and concerns and stuff, which in February, and you've told them we don't have no safeguarding concerns presently. I've then subsequently been liaising with the housing association, and now they've put injunctions against us, both me and Talib. All right. And as a result of that, I've made them recently aware that my brother is out in the community under a section 117. All right. So I tell, are you aware that my brother has because obviously they're looking to make me and my brother homeless. All right. So if they've raised a concern to you, I obviously there are presently legal proceedings under prayer, which you're fully aware of. And it seems that they are trying to escalate a false flag alert, all right, in order to disadvantage us. So that is that's acting with malevolence, in it, because they've not seen my brother. They've not seen my brother. So why would they have a concern? They've not met my.
Because they didn't. I think it's because they didn't see him. I think maybe it might be that maybe they've seen you. They're aware that Talib maybe has some mobility problems, so they likely would have seen him. So
No.
I think it's just
no, but the thing is, it's not.
We've seen Talib.
But it's the housing, as you're aware, the house is not the tenant. My mother was a tenant. What relationship does the housing association have with my brother Talib? You obviously have a relationship with my brother Talib because you're saying that he's part in the, you're his care coordinator. See, this is a very, very alarming, because what relationship does Talib have with Manningham Housing?
He's currently living in one of their properties.
Okay, all right. And the thing is, if they had come down to see now everything's making sense to me, because what's happened is that they have forced through an injunction requiring access to the property. I was concerned that access was being used as a pretext to raise a concern, a safeguarding concern. So access was not provided to them for a gas safety check. So what happened is that Manningham Housing had taken out an injunction against me and my brother, considering they're not our landlords. They had no legal right to do so. So what's happened is that the judge did not adjourn the hearing and railroaded it through. I've lodged that as a formal complaint that quite clearly we've been discriminated against. My allegations still stand that the local authority are railroading something through. And so anyway, we got an injunction, both me and my brother Talib, to provide access to the property for a gas safety check. Now, I was very alarmed at the manner in which that's happened. I suspected that that was going to be used as a pretext to raise a safeguarding alert. So they were not provided access to the property. However, I had carried out a private gas safety check and provided it to them. So they were prevented and denied an opportunity to raise a safeguarding alert. Because they could have, if they entered the property, they said, "Oh, look, we found the property in X condition, we have concerns." So they could have raised a false safeguarding alert. I anticipated that. I understood that that's what the pretext to come into the property was. And now that they haven't gained entry to the property because the fact that I had carried out a gas safety check at my personal expense, they've still contacted you saying that we've got concern. This is very, very alarming because they've not seen me. Manningham Housing Association have not come down to see me. They've not seen me. They hired a private contractor. That private contractor is independent. He saw me. So if you're saying the fact that Manningham Housing came down to see me, they didn't see my brother Talib, they had concerns, that's understandable. But they have not come down to see me. So can you understand? I'm sorry to raise these things with you, and you're getting defensive, saying, "Look, you're twisting things or you're making allegations." But this is the reality. You've come down on Friday, all right. And just for clarity, you did come down to the property, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Okay, all right. So that's another concern to me because they triggered. So what happened is that they were supposed to come down and gain entry through a court injunction order on Wednesday. Okay? On Wednesday, they were supposed to gain an injunction order. They had instructed their agent to come in and raise a false flag alert, all right, which they then would have told you about. That was prevented. So in the absence of them having access to the property, they've raised a false flag concern anyway. And that's necessitated you coming down. Hence why I'm calling you today, Mr. Browell, is that I want to know why you had come down without a telephone appointment or without any, you just knocked upon our door.
I tried to call you actually just prior to it, and it just went to voicemail. So then I had to make the decision just to see if you and Talib will be at home.
Okay, and if you came down, why did you not leave us with a note saying we've come down or something?
Yeah, we should have done that, right? We should have.
No, you understand, obviously, would have, should have, could have, obviously, this raised first concern. And then you rang me up and left a voice message. You did not inform me that we had come down earlier today or anything, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, that's correct, yes. So can you see there's loads of red flags now going up? And then you're saying the fact that, I am twisting things. Evidently, there's a conspiracy to further victimize and persecute us. All right? And I'm really, really concerned about this because, obviously our mothers died. My brother has, obviously suffered immensely. And there are strategies in place by Manningham Housing, by Bradford Council, by the judiciary, by the courts, to basically victimize us further. So I'm within my rights to ask these questions, Mr. Browell. Now, in the context of you wanting to speak to Talib, all right, I'm not preventing you. But obviously, we've had this issue before when my brother does not want to speak to you. So please, can you explain to me how we can? I'm not trying to prevent you, but look, try to understand this. As a result of our mother dying, as a result of me raising alarm that my mother was murdered, my brother's aware of this. All right. Obviously, he's with me when I'm making these concerns. I'm articulating them to my family members. I'm telling my sister, I'm telling my brothers, look, our brother's been murdered. Talib is listening to me. And he believes me. So his understanding is what my understanding is. That the authorities have colluded and murdered our mother. Now, my brother's asking me what's going to happen about me. He's alarmed and distressed. So can you not understand it is reasonable from anybody's perspective if they feel threatened for their own safety where their mother's been murdered? that they don't want to speak to you. Just for you, just for anybody in a position of authority to come and see my brother is going to cause him alarm and distress. And it's not necessary.
The problem is that because Talib's capacity to make those decisions is in question, and we're not hearing Talib say that in his own words, it's difficult for us to accept that.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying it isn't,
but
it's difficult.
No, it's not. No. Well, with respect, Mr. Browell, once again, you're being very, very disingenuous here. My brother has made that expression on numerous occasions to a point where he's now like, you're battering him and beating it out of him that we want to speak to you and stuff. Bali and Mr. Fungai come down, he's told them to fuck off and leave him alone, speak to my brother. He's had other times where Office of the Public Guardian representatives have come down. He said, look, I want you to speak to my brother. I don't want to deal with you. So it seems that that's not an answer that's suitable to you. All right. And you're saying, well, we're just going to wait and we're going to ask him the question again. So, like, for example, he said, I don't want the money, give it to my brother. All right. So he said these things. I've recorded these things. And even and now you're saying, oh, he doesn't have capacity to make those decisions. He's asked you, how much money do I have? And you've not been able to facilitate that. So there's evidently clear malevolence going on here, Mr. Browell. You're being very
Would it be possible to be able to speak to Talib or set eyes on him, and then that would prevent the escalation of any concerns? That's one of the main priorities.
Yeah, and can you?
Okay.
Yeah, but you can take my word for it.
What's that, sorry?
You can take my word for it.
Okay, well, if that's what you're saying, that's fine.
No. Or alternatively, Bradford Council is in contact and liaising with my niece Shagufta, isn't she? Aren't they? So they have contact details. Well, they do have contact details of my niece Shagufta. Because the reason I mention my niece Shagufta is because Bradford Council have been liaising with her consistently throughout the years, because she's the daughter of my brother Nazim, who was murdered. She's acted as a witness for Bradford Council against me in the criminal conviction. So they have contact. The reason I mention my niece is because quite recently my niece has taken us out for a meal. So she took us out for a meal on let me see now, what date was it? It was only a couple of weeks ago. I think it was on, not this Sunday, the previous Sunday.
Okay.
All right. So she has, and hence why I was asking who made the safeguarding alert, because I thought she had been acting as an agent for the authorities and would have raised the alert. But we went for a meal together. There's a family member who's seen my brother. All right. Because, from your perspective, Mr. Browell, a safeguarding alert has been raised and you're trying to ensure that Talib's okay. That's fair enough. But on my perspective, I've explained to you that that's a malevolent safeguarding alert raised through malevolence, number one. And number two is that I've explained to you, I don't have an issue with you seeing Talib. But the problem is that Talib has expressed something to me. He said, look, and I've explained to you that logically makes sense that he doesn't want to see you people. You've caused him nothing but distress and alarm and hatred, and you've taken his money and you've murdered his mother and you've done all these terrible things to him. He's suffering as a consequence. And you're saying that, well, there's a question of his mental capacity. But this mental capacity issue has been ongoing for a number of years now, and we've provided you with a capacity assessment which you can't accept, because ultimately, Mr. Browell, it's this, isn't it? We've had this conversation before. The local authority, Bradford Council, cannot have my brother have mental capacity. Because if my brother has mental capacity, then that undermines your criminal conviction, which runs into the millions of pounds. So that is the reality, isn't it? I'm not trying to hoodwink you or trying to be since you called me on Friday, have I not been the one that's ringing you up?
Yeah. No, you have,
yeah. And am I not trying to... All I'm trying to avoid, Mr. Browell, is that I know, and you've done this on... you, the local authority, have done this on numerous occasions in the past. You will just get the police and you'll break in the door. And you'll come in. Alright? And you can do that. Unlawfully abuse your position. But what does that end up doing?
That's why I'm phoning you, to try and avoid it.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes, but...
By talking to Talib,
Yes, yes.
seeing him.
I know. But that's happened.
You avoid that.
Yes, but that's happened in the past, hasn't it?
It's a bit of trying to escalate matters. I'm trying to make
I know.
matters aren't escalating.
I know, and I'm trying to do the same thing as well. I don't want things to matters to be escalated, but can you understand they can be escalated and they have been escalated. Now, if that happens, the police come in, they cause my brother further distress. Yes, when they cause him distress, he becomes highly constipated. All right, and when he becomes highly constipated, he's not going to open his bowels for several weeks, if not months. Then there's going to be overflow, and then I have to deal with the shit. All right, physical incontinence everywhere. All right, so that's happened to me in the past. It's resulted in my sister's door being broken in, where £1,000 I've had to pay to rectify that, all because of this tyranny of saying we have concerns. Because you have to now make a value judgment that why has Manningham Housing Association, who've not seen my brother, raised a safeguarding concern? So please tell me what is the concern that they've raised?
I think they're concerned about the condition of the property and they haven't seen Tally. So
you see, now it gets a bit more clearer. They have concerns regarding you came to the property, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you have concerns on the exterior?
No.
Okay. So they've raised the concerns regarding so this is why they wanted to gain entry to the property, isn't it? Because they've not entered the property. So what they've reported to you is what you've seen with your own eyes.
Right.
Because they didn't get entry into the property. See, now the penny... Look, Mr. Browell, thank you for that. But now the penny's completely dropped in my mind. They got an injunction to gain entry to the property in order to raise a false flag alert regarding the poor quality of the condition we're living in. But that all got circumvented. So you have to now make a value judgment, because obviously, Mr. Browell, as you know, I'm making notes about what's going on here as well. So should you look to do this, there'll be consequences, because look, I'm trying to avoid you calling the police and breaking in the door, because obviously that is a very serious matter that causes me and my brother alarm and distress. We've gone through this numerous occasions. The last time you came up to Oldham and you were trying to break in and the police got involved, all right? And it's just like nothing's getting resolved. My brother's not got access to any money. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you come into the property and it's in a dilapidated state. That's your fault for not giving us any money, isn't it? Yeah, so that's not going to be an argument. That's not going to be an argument for the police to say, oh, well, yes, we've got some validity here. Or that's not something that you're going to be able to pursue, is it? Because I'm going to just say, look, they're not even giving him any money. I'm living off my carer's allowance alone. So you understand that is not a legitimate reason for you to break an entry. Now, I too want to not escalate, just like with you, hence why I'm calling you up, but you've come down without informing us. You didn't leave any details that you had come down. You left a voice message. You didn't mention that you had come down earlier on. You've just made me aware that Manningham Housing have made you raised a false flag welfare check, where previously I've got a case bundle from Manningham now, and I know the fact that they've been communicating with you via email back in February, inquiring from you whether there was a safeguarding alert in place, and you've responded to them via email explaining, no, we have no concerns with Talib being in Shazad's care. That's correct, isn't it?
I don't know if you say so.
No, well, come on, Mr. Yeah. Well, Mr. Browell, come on, you're being disingenuous. This is only back in February. Manningham Housing, because obviously what they wanted to know was that, can we look to escalate safeguarding issues? And you said, no, we've got no issues with Shazad looking after his brother. So they couldn't trigger that, because you understand safeguarding is a very serious issue that sidelines a lot of legal protections that me and my brother are afforded, of privacy, of like a right to a family life, of a right to be left alone, limitations on your powers. So there are a lot of limitations, but by saying safeguarding or raising a false flag safeguarding, our liberty can be deprived of us, can't it? So they had initially in February when we came to the property, tried to find out from you, oh, is there any safeguarding that we can escalate? You said no. That stopped them. So now they've gone to the courts to get a false injunction in place to gain entry to the property in order to raise a false flag. They've not been able to do that, and still they've raised a false flag regarding the quality of the property inside when they've not even gained entry to the property inside. So it's up to you, Mr. Browell. Look, I'm happy to move forward. If you want to see my brother Talib, I mean, I don't know how that can I mean, could we do it via WhatsApp? But then, even then, do you just need to see Talib?
What's that, sorry?
Do you just need to see Talib?
Yeah, that'd be great if you could see him, and at a time when you agree with and that, and
well,
say hello,
but you know what it is. I mean, because the only way we could potentially make this happen, okay, and I'm not agreeing to this. Is something that I'm gonna have to think about. It's that often I take my brother for a cup of coffee at a coffee place like Morrison's or a Costa and stuff, and it could be when I take him there, you could come and meet me and not speak to Talib and not give the impression that you're from Manningham, or sorry, from housing, and therefore you'll be able to see him with your own eyes but not engage with him, because obviously that way you can see him but then he doesn't have to engage with you, because obviously if I tell him that you're from the people that killed his mother, he's going to get further alarmed and distressed.
Right.
Either
that or I don't know, if you don't, if there's a time when you're going out of the house, and if I can park somewhere nearby and walk past and say hello or something like that, and if that'd be better for you.
Yeah. I mean, if you say hello to me and see Talib, you understand? Because, but then again, look, Mr. Browell, if that rather than calling the police, I'm trying to bend over backwards because I know you're going to abuse your power and it's going to cause all of us a lot of distress and further alienate us. All right, because then if you do that, well, I'm trying to facilitate or accommodate you, then I can't even speak to you. Then can I? Right?
You can't walk, sorry.
No, if you call the police upon us to force entry and break, do all the stuff that you've done that the council have done in the you're further alienating us, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're further alienating my.
I'd rather avoid that.
Yeah, and I would rather avoid that as well. But you have to ask the question. Look, so far, can I just ask? Is there anybody else that's raised a safeguarding alert? Only Manningham.
That's the only one that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then you have to make a value judgment that they've raised a concern saying the condition of the property inside. And I've explained to you that they have not entered the property inside.
Okay.
So you need to maybe go back to them and ask them, why have you raised this? Because there are serious consequences. Now, what concerns me is that because they have taken legal action, what's happened is that I've taken further, obviously it's a legal matter now, I've highlighted their failures, and I believe that this is malicious in the safeguarding alert, or the concerns that they've raised is malicious in nature, because they're trying to gain an advantage by further destabilizing the family household, right? Because obviously we don't have any. The only concern, look, I'll tell you what the concern we have is that my brother's not got access to his money. Yeah, that's the only concern I have. That is a serious issue which is not being resolved. Now, Mr. Browell, like I said, you come down with the police and you break in and you can make all sorts of, we're living in such poor conditions. I'm trying my best as I can. But if you make some false allegations, as have previous social workers in my mum's case, said, oh no, there was some, we're concerned about the quality of care, blah, 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 condition of the environment and stuff, when I had spent a lot of personal money fixing everything up. If you do that, I could just make the argument, look, you're not giving us any money, it's your fault. So that, it just seems that you're trying to deliberately utilize the safeguarding protocols, which are very important for very vulnerable people. You're looking to utilize that as a vehicle to antagonize me and my brother and intimidate us and destabilize.
Just to literally quickly see Talib, set eyes on him. I won't have to talk to him as long as that's all it would be. Like the last time when Talib was sat outside and myself and my colleague spoke with you.
Yes,
Just to see him.
Yes, but Mr. Browell, okay, well, look, the thing is, at that time, you don't know what happened afterward, do you? You don't know how distressed my brother was afterwards, but he spoke to you and I had to explain to him who you were. And then once he understood who you were and he recognized who you were, he then asked you the question, how much money have I got left? Yes? So, obviously you engage with him, all right? And this idea that we just need to see him, all right? It's just, like I said, there are less invasive methods, aren't there? Like I said, you can speak to my niece. She saw him. The concerns we have is that he's become, obviously he's not eating properly because of that he's suffering from, bereavement. Even the other day he was saying to me about what's happened to my mum. And then the other day he was saying to me, I can hear my mum's voice. So, it's a very...
To kind of try and call Shagufta and speak to just to kind of check that way.
Yeah, you can check that way. You can say, look, did you have a meal? She'll obviously tell you that, like, he was very subdued, but she saw him, like, look, Mr. Browell, what exactly would be the concern here? All right? Because, is there any concern that I'm physically abusing him?
No.
Okay, all right.
Also, I know you're kind of contesting the grounds for Manning Housing making a safeguarding alert, but when you receive a safeguarding alert, it's kind of important to try and show that that's being followed up.
Yeah.
And so just by
Look. Look, Mr. Brown. Look. Okay, you know what is that is you're being very open and transparent with me, because if I ring up the police and I say there's a bomb at Horton Park, all right, and that's a malicious call, the police may know it's a malicious call, but they can't afford to take that risk, because if a bomb does explode, then there's going to be a public inquiry and people say, well, why did you not follow through? What evidence did you have? All right. So similarly, when a safeguarding alert is made and you don't know that, you don't know, maybe it is legitimate. So I understand that you have to follow it through, but you can make a value judgment that you've spoken to me today, and I've reassured you, because I've gone through what the concern that they raised, that the property was in a dilapidated state or whatever concern that they had, and I've explained to you that they didn't even gain entry to the property. Do you understand? So I've one that contacted you, and like I said, it just seems, I can understand from your perspective, because obviously a safeguarding alert's been made, and if it's real, there are consequences to you. But can you understand from my perspective that it's going to cause my brother unnecessary alarm and distress?
What will cause him unnecessary alarm and distress?
To engage with you. All right, it would call him unnecessary alarm and distress because he's frightened that somebody's going to murder him. All right, and I have to give him reassurances that no, I'm here. He's asking me what's going to happen about me. And the fact that Bradford Council are refusing to accept that he has mental capacity, and nobody's willing to deal with the situation. So that's the first point. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you, this is like I said, I hope, if you're insisting on, before you call the police, please have another discussion with me. I would like you to think about the fact that I should have relieved your concerns. I think you've done it ample to understand what's happened here. I've explained to you that it's a malicious safeguarding alert because they didn't gain entry to make the allegation that the property was in a poor condition. All right. And you can go back to them and say, well, can you just clarify the safeguarding alert you have? I've spoken to Shazad today, and he says you didn't even gain entry to the property. So how can you make the state that they were living in poor conditions? You could do that, can't you?
I can speak to them about that, yeah. But I mean, it's still the fact of the matter is, I understand your concerns if they made that safeguarding alert, and they said that they, and they haven't got any legitimate reasons about the condition of the property. But the fact remains the same: is Talib hasn't been seen by anyone.
But he's been seen.
So
but
that's still
yeah.
valid concern.
Okay, well, no, that's not a valid concern because he has been seen by, my niece. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and the fact that you could go speak to my neighbor. My neighbor sees him all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so there are other people that've seen him, but for you to say no, we want to see him like professionals, and he's made it quite clear to me that he does not want to engage with professionals, and you can understand why, Mr. Browell. Previously you've come down and not you personally, but you've kidnapped him and held him in custody at Linfield Manor Hospital and wouldn't let me see him. And the fact that that you continue to, you're not helping us, you're not, because obviously you're not helping us because you're saving money at my expense and you're persecuting and hounding me, isn't it, his carer, his family member. So obviously anybody would be distressed, and fundamentally he has a right to. Does he not have a right to refuse to see you?
Yes, well, I mean, yes, he does. I
Yes.
understand what you're saying, but without, I know you said it numerous times in the past, but without being able to assess his capacity and without being able to hear it from Talib, it also puts me in an awkward position.
No. With respect.
His dad says that he doesn't want to see us, so that it's difficult for me to say that's completely fine and agree with that without seeing him.
Okay, but the thing is, his psychiatrist, Dr. Rashmi Dixon, spoke to him via WhatsApp, didn't she? All right, so she spoke to him, and other people, like I said, it seems that, look, can you understand, if there's no consequences of, I'm going to start raising false flag alerts as well. I'm going to start saying today that you just called me a dirty packy.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to start making false flag, and there's no consequences to me, are there, if I make false allegations? All right, but there's consequences to the police now. The police are going to have to come and investigate you because I'm going to say he was calling me a dirty packy on the telephone. Mm-hmm. Shall I do that? The police, then I'm making a serious allegation that you, Mr. Christopher Browell, are being racist towards me now on the telephone. All right? The police now have a duty of care to investigate that, don't they?
Yeah.
All right? And when they investigate that, there's no negative consequences to me, is there, as making the false allegations?
No.
All right? But there's going to be serious consequences to you because you're going to be now having to meet your managers. There's going to be a lot of public expense to find out exactly what was happened, what was said. This call is going to have to be reviewed by the police. Right? So that, anybody can make malicious allegations. Now, the housing association have raised a concern. You're saying we have to see him. You can say, I can look. I'm getting even more concerned now because you could see my brother. My brother can tell you, look, I'm okay. I don't want to speak to you. There's nothing stopping another allegation happening in a couple of weeks' time where you insist on seeing my brother again and again and again. So effectively, you're you're abusing a process there, aren't you?
Just 1 second. I'm actually on duty and the phone's ringing. Just 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay, all right. So, obviously you've been very open and transparent with me today because obviously there's been other things happening around about that time because you came on Friday, didn't you? There's also I've been not only escalating matters with the Manningham Housing regarding their failures or the legal action that they're taking. I've also been escalating matters with his GP practice in Oldham. Okay, and so therefore their GP practice were obligated to make a subject access disclosure on the 15th, which was a Saturday. So obviously I've been liaising with the DP officer and liaising with the GP practices there on their failures, and it seems quite coincidental that everything was coordinated for you to come down on Friday, in order to and we've had this before as well, raised a false flag safeguarding alert. So it's just very very concerning that like you've come down unannounced as a result of Manningham's false flag malicious concern. But at the same time, that what is, Mr. Browell, that I understand that there's these many things are happening to me that are being coordinated by somebody, and I accept that maybe you're not fully aware of what's happening, but you are playing your part in that coordinated effort. And then that very same coordinated effort resulted in my mother's murder earlier in the year. So it's very, very concerning to me. Now, there are other issues I want to discuss with you, particularly regarding my brother's GP practice in Oldham.
Right.
And also, but before I discuss that, I've now received a letter from Department of Work and Pensions regarding my role as my brother's carer. So has somebody raised a concern? Did you raise a concern, or are you aware of a concern being raised to the Department of Work and Pensions and I'm not caring for my brother for 35 hours?
No, I'm not aware of that, no.
Okay, because they've recently sent me a letter just asking, confirming that because obviously I am caring for my brother 35 hours a week. So can you understand when there's a coordinated effort like this, it's very, very alarming and disheartening and distressing.
So, I mean, with regards to coordinated effort, obviously, as you said, that Manningham Housing, they kind of sent me an email. I think that was early on last week, and because I would be on annual leave Monday and Tuesday of this week, it was my choice. It wasn't something that I don't think even my managers were aware of.
Okay.
That I wanted to try and visit the home before, like, today, and didn't want to leave it over the weekend, so I thought it was part of my duty to at least try to make.
Okay, well, yeah, well, that's fair enough, but can you understand that they were supposed to come into the property on Wednesday? Okay?
Yeah.
And so they were supposed to come in on the Wednesday, which is the 12th, I believe. They didn't gain entry to the property, so they couldn't have emailed you on before the 12th, could they?
No.
So can you tell me, did they email you on the 12th or the 13th?
It might have been the 13th, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably, yeah.
So
at the start of the week, but yeah, probably.
Okay.
I still didn't want it to.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So they emailed you. Do you know what time it was?
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Okay, all right. Okay. So they emailed you on the 13th, and you're right. It's your decision. You come down, all right. But like I said, that is only somebody's instructed them to do that. And also somebody's instructed, the GP practice to behave in a particular manner. And somebody's also raised a concern. So it's not just, can you understand why I say it's a coordinated effort? Because look, Manningham Housing on the 13th tell you, look, we have concerns regarding the conditions of the property. They would have ordinarily gained entry to the property because there was an injunction in place. They didn't gain entry to the property. So that's a false flag. At the same time, there is a coordinated effort because somebody's raised a concern to the Department of Work and Pensions regarding my role as my brother's carer. So they've now had to write out to me saying, look, we want you to tell us that, are you still caring for him 35 hours a week? Okay. And so
Yeah, I'm not aware.
okay, all right. But like I said, so you're not aware. So somebody more senior is coordinating an effort to destabilize me and attack me, and so therefore why I'm being suspicious and defensive. So that has happened. Just to make you aware that that has happened. That the Department of Work and Pensions has raised an inquiry regarding my caring role for my brother. They said, "Are you still caring for him?" And obviously I am. I'll deal with that in time. But furthermore, have you been in contact with the legal team regarding the state of my brother's case with the court of protection?
No, I'm not aware of any new anything new. No, but I'm aware that it's ongoing in some way, but I don't really get involved in it very much. So.
Oh, okay. Well, just to update you, because obviously at the around about the same time on the 15th. So you can can you understand? There's a whole series of things that are happening around about this time. So on the 13th, Manningham Housing raised a safeguarding alert to you. You come down on the 14th. On the 14th, I'm having hostile negotiations with the GP practices disclosure, which they need to disclose by the 15th. On the 15th, I receive a letter from the Office of the Public Guardian saying that the orders have been granted in the absence of the concerns that I had raised. All right. So everything's happened around about the same time. So that's a coordinated effort on somebody senior's part. All right. And now I have to deal. I have to now deal with the fact that the judge in this case has been bought off, just as the judge in Manningham Housing's case of getting an injunction has been bought off. So can you understand? I accept, Mr. Browell, that you don't have the power to do this. You are a lowly, forgive me for saying, you are a lowly foot soldier, all right? Asked to follow instructions and commands from senior command. But somebody very senior is coordinating an effort to basically deprive my brother of his liberty and me of my liberty. And they're doing that by buying off the services of the judges. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, and that's happening to us. So this is happening very recently now. If I can just move on to the GP practice. Now we've had this conversation before because I've asked them to tell me what conversations that they've had with you and the change of address. So can I ask? Can you just elaborate on when your communications and any concerns raised by the GP practice in Oldham regarding my brother Talib or myself?
No, I'm not going to start looking over notes and things like that. The purpose of the phone call was to just check to see if Talib's okay, and I'm willing to listen to what you've got to say, but I still haven't been able to see Talib or speak to him, and that's the purpose of the phone call. Not to give you more ammunition to kind of.
No, well. The thing is, look, Mr. Browell, you have to be open and transparent, all right? Because what happens is that if you're not going to be open, things are going to come to light, all right? And what's happening here is that does it not? Look, all right, I'm raising a safeguarding alert right now regarding my brother Talib. Right now, I'm raising it with you as his care coordinator, all right? Just as Manningham have. My concern is that my brother's not getting access to his money. And there's no means for me to get access to his money. And so how are you going to deal with that? Because come on, Mr. Browell, there is a cost of living care crisis. Everything's getting expensive. Why is this issue not being dealt with? There's no practical means for me to get money for my brother Talib. And so if
we've been down this avenue, haven't we, though? And if you could start accepting the £250, then I'd be happy to see if that could be increased to a more significant amount of money. So Talib could be given access to it.
No, but that's
via the appointeeship scheme.
Yeah, but that's under your conditions, isn't it? That's under your
It's not my condition. That's just that's what's in place at the moment.
But that's not working, is it? That's not.
That's all I can kind
Yeah, but that's not working, is it?
With, as it were.
But that's not working, is it?
No, because it not getting any money, no.
Yes, and do you accept that that's endangering his life?
That's not my decision.
No, but it is endangering his life, isn't it?
It's not my decision to make.
No,
Look,
no.
So that I can try and provide access to the money, via money from the.
No, but the thing is, yes.
Whether that's a legitimate thing, that's something for yourself and the court.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I understand. And we've gone through that. I don't want to go over the topics of where the judges are being bought off and where. But the bottom line is that so my brother's not had any money, not one penny, since at least February 2021 when we were made homeless. That's correct, isn't it?
Okay, if you say so, yeah.
Okay, and it is correct as a result of the local authorities' actions in regards to my mother's case that me and my brother were homeless.
Right.
No, do you accept that we were homeless?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you were homeless.
Okay, all right. So, okay. So we were made homeless as a result of Bradford Council's actions by forcing me through an injunction, orders to vacate this house where we're living in. So as a result of me being vacated, I could not leave my brother because I'm his carer as well. So I took my brother and we became homeless. My sister gave us shelter. So we were living on our sister's couch as homeless people, yes?
Okay.
Yes? Because that's not our resident, is it? We only moved there as a result of the injunction orders by Bradford Council. Now, the present situation is this, where I'm liaising with the Manningham Housing. Manningham Housing are looking to force us out of the property. If we go and basically putting us back into a state of homelessness, what are you as a council going to do to assist my brother not become homeless?
I don't know. I'd have to try and work with Howard and yourself to try and find a solution to that.
Yes, but the thing is, on the one hand, you're saying there's a solution to that, but we've asked you to intervene previously. I read some emails that you sent to Manningham Housing saying we don't want to get involved.
Well, as far as I'm aware, that is up to yourselves and Manningham Housing, and it's not really up to me to influence that.
No. Manningham Housing have been liaising with you, saying, look, we've got this person here, is there a safeguarding alert, and you've been telling them, you the council have been telling them, there's some injunctions in place, and basically the Manningham Housing, Nazneen particularly, who's been speaking to you, Nazneen, are saying, look, there's issues regarding his housing, and we're going to have to take legal action, and you've said to them, look, we don't want to get there's got nothing to do, we don't want to get involved. All right, so they've looked to you. Manningham Housing have looked to you to assist them with a solution, and you, Mr. Christopher Browell, have emailed them saying we don't want to get involved. Those are your exact words. So you are saying we don't want to get involved, while the Manningham Housing look to make us homeless because they've taken litigation action against us. And the net outcome is that kicking us out of this house is going to make us homeless.
Yeah, well, I mean, all I could do is try and support around that if that occurred. But again, it'd be up to how much support yourself and Sally would accept, really.
Yeah, but that's it. But if my brother ends up being homeless, like he ended up being homeless last time, can you understand that's going to endanger his life, innit? Because he cannot. It's not like he can live on the streets. Because he's a vulnerable adult that has mobility issues, is doubly incontinent, and has mental health problems. So can you understand that? Like for me, for example, let's just say I'm made homeless and I don't have anywhere to go. I can live on the streets, can't I?
Well, it wouldn't be pleasant, but
yeah, it wouldn't be.
Got the same health problems.
Yeah, okay. It wouldn't endanger my life directly, would it? It would be very, very inconvenient. I could beg on the streets for money. I can walk around. I can get food. I can sleep rough on the roads. Many people do that. You do understand? Many people sleep rough.
But you could still go to housing options.
Yeah.
For homeless.
Yes.
And for you and Sally, hopefully they'll be able to find you accommodation.
Okay, all right. No, but the point that I'm trying to make is that if Talib is made homeless, he would not survive on the streets, could he?
No, it would be very difficult for him.
It would be impossible for him to live on the streets, especially without my assistance. And he would die. All right? So, and we're living in a property that he's already been living in. All right? For a number of years. The only concern that Manningham should have is under occupancy. Yes? That's not a concern that you, the council, should have. And I've spoken to Manningham in the past regarding this issue of under occupancy, because we've always been under occupied in this house. Because my father passed away, there was 3 people living in a 5-bedroom house. We've always had under occupancy.
I've got another phone call, and we've been talking about an hour now.
Okay.
I'm really gonna have to end this phone call.
Okay, all right, let's end this call. Let's end this call now. Can you please think about the safeguarding alert and how we should proceed forward before? Like, obviously, I'm willing to accommodate something, but like I said, you can just say that. It's your decision, basically.
Just a second, I've just got to answer it. Hang on.
It's okay, all right. Like I said, there's just those couple of points I wanted to discuss with you. Obviously, I hope I've alleviated your concerns. I've highlighted to you the fact that my brother is very, very alarmed and distressed. I'm obviously trying to take care of the situation as best as I can while dealing with the malevolence of litigation action by everybody. Can we speak on this matter again if you need to insist on seeing Talib, how that could be facilitated? Like I said, potentially we could do it via WhatsApp, or potentially, I mean, you usually need to see Talib, so why can't we do it by WhatsApp?
Why can't we what? Sorry,
Why can't you just see him via WhatsApp?
I wouldn't know what. I don't really use WhatsApp on my work phone.
Because
We've either got Microsoft Teams or Zoom, something like that.
yeah, we could do it, because the thing is, I could not see me and Talib could not see our mother for the last year of our life unless we were only allowed to see her through WhatsApp.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll see. I'll ask if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that, I would prefer it that way. You can see Talib. Talib doesn't need to know about yourself. You can have a WhatsApp call. He can be there as well. All right, and you can see the fact that he's doing okay. Like I said, this is basically a waste of time and resources, to tell you the truth. All right, because obviously it is a malicious safeguarding alert. Now, I'm just looking through my emails, and I'm just looking at the fact that I sent an email on after you had visited, or on the 14th, on Friday the 14th at 13:36 to Manningham, making them aware that my brother's out on a Section 117 aftercare, and the fact that they will be making a vulnerable adult homeless. So I had thought that as a result of that email, they may have contacted you to raise that concern. But it's evident that they did not contact you on Friday. They had contacted you on Thursday, hadn't they?
I think so. Either Wednesday or Thursday. It sounds like.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is as a result of the failed injunction order. So that, obviously there's a clear argument to be made. So I'm just going to contact them and try to find out exactly why they're being malicious against us, because obviously this matter is in court, and obviously it is a very concerning that they have utilized. Because look, Mr. Browell, you're fully aware that I can't come to your house, can I, without your permission?
No.
Okay. And you're fully aware that if in order for me to come to your house, not even the police can come into your house unless they get a warrant of entry. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
But however, I can come into your house on the pretext that there's a welfare concern. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So can you...
Not from my point of view, no. Not without you saying, not without you welcoming us into the house, no. But I think we're all, it's okay to kind of knock on the door just to see if you're in.
No, but the police can gain entry, all right, without a warrant if there is a serious...
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, so if I raise let's just say for argument, I wanted to come into your house and cause you problems, all right? I can ring up the police right now and say, look, I believe Mr. Browell's got a gun in his house. Yeah.
Yeah.
The police can gain entry to your house, then, can't they?
Yeah.
All right. So they don't need to go. They don't need to get a warrant of entry. Similarly, if I say, look, I have welfare concerns regarding Mr. Browell, all right, I think his life's in danger, the police can gain entry to your house because there's a danger to life and limb. So they can gain entry to your house, can't they?
Yeah.
All right. So can you understand that people can be malicious and utilize that as a tool to cause other person harm? Yes?
Yeah, I can see how that is possible.
Yes.
It's also possible to avoid that, which again is up to you and it's up to Talib. You can, or people can cooperate with services to avoid that.
No, but no.
They have to cooperate, but that's
No, but can you understand, if there's a genuine, if somebody's doing something through malevolence, so basically, being spiteful, all right, then quite clearly, you can't, you can't, if you know that that's being done out of spite, then clearly you're going to be upset, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I ring up and I tell the police, oh look, Mr. Browell's got a gun in his house. The police have to act because obviously there's a danger to life. They're breaking your door. They're getting entry. That's going to be distressing for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So like you think, all right, I'm going to cooperate, and they do it next time, and a third time, or a fourth time. You have to, you have to say no. And so, in a similar vein, how many times have there been false flag welfare checks My sister's door's been broken in. My house has been raided by the police. All right, because this is an abusive process. So you know that you have to act with with a decorum. That what's happening here. You can't force us. Like, look, what's going to happen is that, look, right now you're forcing us to take the £250. All right, we're not taking it. That's endangering my brother's life. But you're not willing to do anything about that. All right, you're not looking to resolve that. Yeah. But let's just say, for argument, that my brother was saying that he was entitled to life-saving medication. Let's just say my brother has diabetes and he needs insulin, and my brother refuses to have insulin, which is going to endanger his life. Would you do something then?
It would depend on the individual circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. If there's an if I try to jump off the building, are you going to intervene?
If what? Sorry.
If I try to kill myself by throwing myself off a building, are you going to intervene?
Well, I'd try to intervene. Yeah.
Yes. Why would you intervene? Because obviously, I'm gonna. It's up to me if I want to kill myself.
Because it's still part of my job,
yes,
and part of the service's job.
Yes.
Isn't it? But
Yeah, and have you personally, Christopher Browell, not been reprimanded, and has your name not come in the newspapers where somebody has killed themselves under your care, Mr. William? What's his name now? The chess player.
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Yeah, Mr. Williams. So he's died. You've not done it. And you've been reprimanded. It's come in the newspapers.
I'd argue that I wasn't reprimanded, no, but I've had to speak on that case. Yeah.
Yes, all right. You were not reprimanded. Nobody got reprimanded, and a chess player died.
So I don't think it's really good to talk about that. It's not really appropriate to talk about that.
No, I think it's very, very appropriate because look, what's going to happen now is, let's just say it's not going to happen, but let's just say my brother dies, all right, because he's not getting access to food and he's malnutrition, and he dies as a consequence. Surely somebody's going to ask the question, well, why did you not try to get him his money?
What they'd also say is, why didn't I do more to try and see him?
But Mr. And because you can say, well, he didn't want to see me, all right. But there's a serious issue here where my brother's not. You've accepted the fact that if my brother's not we're not getting access to money, all right. Which you're saying that he doesn't have, because ultimately it comes down to this. And once again, we're going around in circles. And I'm looking to end the call now. But the problem here is this: that you, Bradford Council, have convicted me of nearly £1 million of fraud against my brother Talib and other family members, without seeking their consent, without them raising a concern or a statement or making a statement against me, or without you determining that they lack mental capacity. So you've got that conviction, and now because of the consequences of your failures, right now you need to ensure that my brother is retrospectively determined that he lacks mental capacity. So this is the elephant in the room, isn't it? My criminal conviction. And that criminal conviction...
You say so, I don't see how it has bearing on that, but okay.
Okay, but so why will you not accept that my brother has mental capacity considered? We've carried out a private mental capacity assessment report.
I don't know, that isn't up to me either.
Yeah.
I'm actually on duty all day.
Yeah. All right. Look, Mr. Browell. Let's just thank you for the time. Thank you for the time. I hope I've assisted and clarified the situation. You've been open and transparent with me. Obviously, I'll be looking to further into this. But can you call me back maybe next week to tell me no? Let me know if you are insisting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a call next week. Let me just check when. Yeah, I will give you a call next week.
Can we get a day and time? Can we get a day and time? Because obviously, you're not on annual leave now. You're not on leave or anything, are you?
I am for Friday and Monday. Yes, I am. Yeah.
Friday and Monday next week.
Yeah. No, Friday this week and Monday next week.
Okay, we're on Wednesday today. Okay, so can we say on Tuesday at 2 o'clock?
Yeah, I'll call you Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
What date is that?
It's the 26th of October.
Okay. If you call me on the 25th of October, and we can take the matter from there. Like I said, this is the purpose is you coming down as a result of a malevolent and malicious, say, a false flag welfare concern by a party that's we're in litigation with. So you can gain clarity on what you should do next, and I'll speak to you on the 20th.
Would it be possible to visit with a colleague on the 25th just to see Talib outside or not?
Well, the reason that you're ringing me back on the 25th is that you're going to tell me that you're satisfied or where we're going to go forward. I've just explained to you. I mean, look, Mr. Browell, you're an intelligent person. My brother's getting alarmed and distressed at your involvement. This is a false. This is malevolent. Somebody's maliciously doing this to cause us alarm and distress. So that you have to take that.
What are we calling to discuss on Tuesday then?
So you're calling me to discuss on Tuesday whether, after having considered our conversation today and reflected upon it, whether you're insisting on seeing my brother, otherwise you're going to call the police.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I've not mentioned the police at all.
No, you have. You said we want to avoid that.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not the forefront of my mind. It's just a standard way.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, so you can do that by indirect means, haven't you? You can go consider whether we can speak to you electronically via WhatsApp or Zoom or whatever. That's one option.
Yeah.
You can go speak to my neighbours. You can go speak to my niece Tasveer. I'm sure you should gufta.
Yeah.
Alright? Those are all indirect. Like I said, at this stage, the only way you're going to get direct contact is if you break the door in with the police. That's something I want to avoid. And it's not necessary for you to have direct contact. You can have indirect means to establish that my brother's okay. So these are options for you to consider and we can have a discussion upon this on the 25th of what have you decided.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Browell. Take care, goodbye.
Right, thanks, Shizad. Cheers, mate.
So this guy has obviously made me aware that there's a false flag safeguarding alert raised on Friday, necessitating their coming down and necessitating them escalating the matter further. So this is very, very concerning. This is a coordinated effort in order to destabilize me, destabilize the family, destabilize our home, and so that the local authorities can take advantage. It's clearly fraud and malevolent at its very core.